All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Hey, this is Eric McKinley, and I'm the Director of Program Development. We got Miss Bercy Winston on the call out of the DMV area. We got Miss Quartina Trafford on the call out of Huntsville, Alabama, Rocket City. And we probably got some more people that's going to jump on the call as well. So do me a favor, as you jump on, drop your city and your state. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Like it, share it, and tag somebody. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Drop your city and your state. Like it, share it, and then tag somebody. All right? And let them know we are talking about a question. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Thanks for jumping on. We're going to be answering the question about where are our taxes going? Where's your taxes going? Why did I want to talk about this tonight, ladies? Well, let me share this with some groups, and then I'm going to tell y'all because.
All right. Yeah, that question kind of stunned me. Okay.
It's stunned.
What you mean where they go?
Well, it's a lot of people that it's a lot of people that believe, because a lot of things we've been led to believe.
Mm-hmm. Myths,
payroll taxes, where they're going, what they're paying for, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people think that all taxes are going straight to infrastructure. That all taxes are going to schools and things like that. But first off, as we jump on, like I said, drop your city and state. We're gonna get into this thing. Drop your city and state, like it, share it, and let somebody know where you're tuning in from. We got Mr. James Hall coming out of Falling Waters, West Virginia.
Hey, James.
Hello.
Yeah, the lady want to know where I'm coming from, James. They want to know where I'm coming from. They think the IRS is out to get them. No, this is not that.
He threw one on me tonight.
This is not that. Well,
I promise you, there ain't no kind of changes made just yet.
No changes just yet. We got the man with the plan on the call. So
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So we already know. So hey, thank you Mr. Luther out of Aiken, South Carolina, for jumping on. Y'all do me a favor, like it and share it as well. Want to get people involved in this conversation. The reason why I actually wanted to talk about this particular topic, and I want everyone to know, because I had a conversation with a gentleman in one of my groups, one of my educational groups that I host. The name of the group is Creating Seed Money. If you're not a part of that group, make sure you jump in. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do everybody a solid. I'm gonna find the link to the group, and I'm gonna share the group, because I want you to be able to look in there and see some of the things that we post. But Creating Seed Money, it's Creating Seed Money, Building Dreams. It's a group that I share financial education. And I had a conversation with a gentleman not too long ago about, do you think that wealthy people should pay more in taxes? That's where this conversation came from, y'all. Okay. If y'all just jumping on, we're going to be talking about some things about, where our taxes are actually going. Gentleman wanted to know, I say, do you think wealthy people should pay more in taxes? Well, of course, I had a couple people respond to it. And this one particular gentleman said, yeah, he thinks that wealthy people should have to pay more in taxes. Well, I asked, if you don't mind, would you please elaborate? So the last thing he said, and I am going to get this together because I'm reading it, y'all. This ain't to step on anybody's toes. Remember, this is public, so it's out there. All right, it's a conversation. Said that he thinks that wealthy people should pay more in taxes. Says that I'm not going to tell you about the other part about it. Let me see. I don't want to read this. So blah 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 blah. Oh, y'all going? I'm gonna get it right. I might as well read the whole thread, huh? May as well. Okay. So basically, he said, I'm broke financially, but I'm wealthy in life. He says taxes can help less fortunate, wealthy, with proper education, better food, less stress. Do I need to continue? My thing, yeah, you need to continue. I really think it need to continue because it's a conversation and it's an education. It was a great dialogue back and forth. And I said, well, I do agree on this point, education. I said certain taxes pay for certain things. There's 97 different taxes that we may have to pay as Americans. Most of the things you're referring to is true. However, there are some things that are state run, not federal run. Okay. Remember, every state has its own municipality. And every state has its own elected officials. And the governor of each state serves as little president of that state. Just break it down in this, little government, right? So I never liked government when I was in school because they always talked about economics, and I didn't like when they was talking about money the way they were talking about money. But when I grew up and realized that I should have paid some more attention, I realized that I missed out on things. So now as an adult, I understand. I went on to say, however, most of them are state run, not federal run. Unfortunately, we live in a capitalist society. Of course, that means that somebody's learned how to make money using different strategies and leveraging people and time and money and things like that. Capitalism is really not bad. It can be bad. You can be a good capitalist or you can be a bad capitalist, okay? And I think that people who are good capitalists, they find a way to give back. So whether you're wealthy in dollars with the commas and zeros, whether you're wealthy in spirit, if you have the personality, I think that you can give back no matter how many zeros you have in your investment account or your bank account. That's my point. I said that simply means that, we live in a leveraged society. A capitalist knows how to make money different ways. It doesn't matter how much education is offered of the mind if the mind is not in receive mode. So it doesn't matter how much the wealthy pay taxes. It doesn't matter how much more. See, the Bible talks about the poor are always going to be with us. And God gives us a choice. It's called free will. And I did a post about this the other day. On one side, you have Deuteronomy 8:18 giving us the instructions and reminding us that God gave us the power, gives us the power to be wealthy, to create wealth. And then on the other side, it says, well, the poor is going to always be amongst us. So we got a choice. And there's enough space on each side for everybody, I believe. It's just my personal opinion. I went on to say, a capitalist knows how to make money in different ways. It doesn't matter how much education is offered if the mind is not in receive mode. Lower income producing families have access to lower their taxes just as the wealthy. Many of them don't understand, therefore they continue to work and blame the wealthy for learning and understanding how to legally lower their taxes. I believe if more people understood how money worked, then they could take care of their own economy and not worry about basically what's going on in somebody else's backyard. Okay, the grass and the weeds and all that stuff. That's just my 2 cents. I refuse. I say this again, and y'all can quote me on this. I refuse to overpay taxes just so somebody else can benefit. I'm gonna leave that one right there. Everybody has an opportunity, and I am not what a lot of people would call wealthy, but I am building wealth. And I refuse now that I know to overpay more than I have to overpay. The definition of tax evasion is to not report and to not I mean, stop me, Mr. Tax Pro, if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said he with me when I'm right. So now here's the deal. Let's see how our payroll taxes, how they apply in different areas, in different facets of our life, and then the economy, the government, all that stuff. Of course, everybody has their own economy. The world has its own economy. We can't really mess with the world right now because we're in the country. Okay, so they don't really apply to us. But this United States of America has its own economy as well. Hey, Miss Valerie, how you doing? Thanks for coming in from St. Louis. All right. But the United States has its own economy, and I think that if I continue to overpay taxes, looking at the government's track record, and I hope they don't shut me down, they are trillions and trillions of dollars in debt.
Yeah.
Not just to other countries, and Quartina, you can chime in on this if you want, but they're also indebted to us via the Social Security fund.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else that we got to talk about at a later date. But why I trust somebody with my money if they ain't doing a good job with their own?
That's good.
That's just a thought. But it comes with education. And I wasn't always like this. My wife reminds me when I say crazy things. She said, well, Eric, you weren't always like that. I said, no, I wasn't always like that, but I always kept an open mind. Yeah. So anybody care to add to what I said? I know I said a lot of stuff. Payroll taxes. What? I mean, it's a couple of payroll taxes out there. I think it's 4, right? 4 different breakdown. Okay. So you want to talk about that, Mr. Hall?
Yeah, I mean, so you touched on something. Why would I trust the government to handle my money when they're not handling their own? But if we be real with themselves, if we be real with ourselves, it ain't their money anyway.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's go with that one.
So we trusting them to handle our money regardless because we're paying so much in taxes. But yeah, you got the payroll taxes, and I was actually just having this conversation earlier with a client that I was talking with, and we were going over the concept of how, if you think about it, FICA and self-employment taxes is really the same thing. Both of them comprise.
Say that again. So the people who say that again. So the people who have a business only and who are full-time business owners understand what you just said, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So FICA is a payroll tax that's levied against you pretty much when you have a W-2, when you are choosing to earn your income on a job. And the concept is FICA comprised of Social Security and Medicare. And that's something that you have to pay. Believe me, I didn't try to look up some research and ways we can get out of it. And outside of trying to claim that I'm a nationality from a descendant of something and all this other kind of nonsense that I ain't trying to do, you ain't going to get out of FICA taxes when you're on your job. Now, the beautiful thing about it is, if you can consider it that, is that your employee has to pay half of that FICA tax. So we're talking about you covering 7.6%, they covering 7.6%, but they get it as a deduction. You still got to deal with federal and state. And what I was saying was FICA and self-employment are all really relatively the same. Self-employment consists of Social Security and Medicare. And the thing about it is the benefit is when you are self-employed, you don't get the full brunt of Social Security as you do than if you were working a job. When I found that out, I was a little enraged. They cut a couple percent off when it comes to being self-employed income. So everywhere you go, you're gonna have the payroll taxes. You don't escape federal and state. You don't escape Social Security and Medicare. But what you do is you have options to lower a couple of those things to free yourself from the burden.
I love your verbiage and terminology, man. You say leveraged. We just recently bought our grandkids a seesaw. And for those of you who don't know, if you're bigger than the person that's on the other end of the seesaw, what's going to happen is you're going to let, basically, right? Granddaughter, she's the biggest, she's the oldest, and I got, we got one in the middle. He was a preemie, so he's 4, she's 5, and she gets on that seesaw and he just goes up in the air, sits on that seesaw, he just goes up in the air. And I know I'm really animated, y'all. I like having fun, but she's leveraging him, and that's how the government is leveraging us. Now, you said something really key, James. You said that we have the ability to legally lower it. To the legal lowest limit. If we have things in place, see, I caught myself. I didn't say the B word. If we have things in place, then I'm learning. We can leverage that. However, people who are self-employed only, they automatically have the ability to leverage it. They may not be doing it to the fullest, but they already have the ability to leverage it. You said something else key. You said the W-2 employee, the worker, pays half, and the person who owns the job, the business, they pay half. The difference is one is a write-off and one is deducted. So one is a deduction, and one is deducted.
That's true.
So anybody else wanna lay in on this? Anybody else, Miss Quartini? What you think?
Yeah, y'all touching all those points.
We got some people watching, but they ain't saying anything. So we're just glad that y'all watching with us. I know my mom, she ain't gonna say nothing. She just back in the cut anyway. But got some people watching.
I do want to add though, I know a lot of people are gonna kind of wonder because a lot of people are not familiar with the numbers that we are explaining and talking about, especially when we're talking about the Social Security tax. And I'm not advocating for any agency out there, but there is a website where you can go and get those numbers from. You can go to socialsecurity.gov and you can punch in the Social Security numbers for 2021 and it will pull up those numbers so you can actually see what they are.
That right? Socialsecurity.gov. Okay. We'll get there somewhere. So, okay. So now, going back to Ms. Berth, you got something you wanna add to that?
I remember when I applied for Social Security. I was like,
all that money you making, Ms. Bertha.
Well, look, I said, okay, I don't want them taking none of my money. I don't want to be penalized for nothing. So I said, I'm not going to apply until I get 66, which was is considered, they consider your retirement age. So I didn't even know, well, first of all, I would say, okay, I'm still working, so why are y'all taking out Social Security? I'm still working. Why? I'm at retirement age. Why y'all still taking out Social Security? And then I didn't know that you have to pay for Medicaid. I was like, what? You mean to tell me that I've been paying in Medicaid all since I've been working, and now I'm retired? I gotta pay for Medicaid.
Right.
I was hot. I was mad. So I said, well, can you tell me why do I have to pay? She said, well, let me tell you this. That's just a tax, like James was saying. And she said, you better be glad you did pay into it, because if you hadn't have paid into it, you would be paying more for the Medicare now. I said, how you figure? So, education is powerful. I didn't know when my boss was the first one. And I think he asked me to do something. And I said, why are you paying for Medicare? It's free.
No, it is not. We're actually using that.
He said, oh no, it's not free. I said, you gotta be kidding me. I didn't know. I thought it was free. I guess I was getting it mixed up with Medicaid.
Right.
But I was clueless. I did not know that you had it, and they take it out of your money. That was another issue. You don't even ask me. It comes out automatically.
Well, I mean, they asked you. They asked you when you started working. They said, "Hey, A basis said we know it's okay to take it out because you work." That's basic. Well, if you felt like that, right? Imagine how many other people out there feel the same who are uneducated that don't know. Imagine this. And this is for anybody on the panel. But imagine this. Imagine being blessed. Yeah. So maybe to the age of 62. 64 or 65 or 67.
Right.
And then retiring from a job. Mm-hmm. But because you don't meet a certain age requirement, that gap, because there's still like a 2 to 5 year gap in between, depending on when you retire, could be bigger.
Right.
Then you can't get no medical coverage. You don't apply, you don't qualify for that medical coverage. That's why a lot of people are working as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're still working so they can still get that.
Yeah,
benefit.
you're right. Or
Yeah.
if they don't, they go back so they can.
So they can
health
get,
benefit.
they may get a full-time gig or get a part-time gig, something that's enough to be able to fund that. So I don't fault I don't fault people for what they do, but I know that there's different ways that we can actually do things. Planning
Yeah,
better.
that was an eye opener for me. I was like, what?
Well,
And then so that becomes your primary, and then your other insurance become your supplemental.
yeah, because they always ask you, do you have other insurance?
Yeah, and because my husband was retired from the government, he has health insurance.
Yeah.
So they kind of like give you a decrease on the regular insurance, but you're gonna pay that Medicare insurance.
They're gonna hit everybody though.
You're gonna pay that Medicare insurance regardless.
Yeah. Well, you said a key thing, right? We don't think of the concept of taxes, and that's what we're talking about, right?
Exactly.
It is, pretty much a levy for the most part.
Yeah.
Where it's a levy against your money for a particular need, which why we're kind of talking about this. And a lot of people confuse Social Security with and Medicare is retirement. When we get to retirement, we have these things. But the reality is, it's all kind of a pool of money that's funding aspects of retirement for some individuals. I remember when I first started learning about Social Security and Medicare and so forth, and I always got told, "Look, man, don't even plan to have it." I'm like, it's coming out my check.
Yeah.
Don't plan to have it. And it was until I realized that, hey, with the way that money is getting spent, right? Because the money's in the government's hands, even though it's the people's money, because of the way that they're doing things, I won't have it. And even though I can log in my socialsecurity.gov account right now and it say, James, you got $2,000 a month coming. It ain't gonna be there. Without some additional subsidy, it's gonna be unreliable. So, that's the whole point of a tax. It's supposed to be an inconvenience.
You said it's supposed to be. Corten, you was about to weigh in on something. What you gonna say? My thoughts.
Going back to what Ms. Bertha was saying about the insurance piece and being the secondary and the primary, one other thing too that they don't really tell everybody about either is for us vets anyway, that if you have, say for instance, TRICARE, and when you become Medicare eligible, if you try to refuse Medicare, then they're going to drop you from TRICARE. So it's like it's mandatory and mandated. So you're getting penalized.
Right.
So you got these two mandates that people are very they're not informed on.
Exactly.
Getting are up front until the situation happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. You ain't even mentioned the part A and the part B.
Right. Right.
You ain't mentioned part A and the part B.
That's really getting down to it as well too. You're getting into all of the enrollment season if you refuse, and then coming back trying to pick it up. It gets complicated.
Well, it's so funny because when it was time to enroll in it, I sit on it. Lady said, she told me, she said, Miss Winston, do you not know you don't have any insurance? I was like, yes, I do. She said, because I had I already had the primary, right? At that time. She said, oh no, you ain't gonna have any insurance, and you missed the deadline. And so she gave me an appointment. She said, you need to be on this phone at such and such a time. And if you miss the appointment, you are going to have no insurance.
And they were talking to you like that, Ms. Burke?
Yeah, well, she was,
Yeah.
But, I was nonchalant about it because I couldn't even believe this was happening. That I had to pay for one, so that's why I was delayed. I ain't paying no Medicaid.
Well, it goes back to this. So, what you're saying, and it makes sense. Everybody's making some great comments. It's just a lack of education. When I retired from the military, I didn't know. And then I found out a lot of things through my mom and dad, because when they reached the age of 65, you know, you have like so many months before a certain age and so many months. If not, like you say, you miss it. You're done.
Yeah.
But that's not explained. So, and just so if you're listening, y'all, we're not here to talk about Social Security or Medicaid or you know, we're talking about payroll taxes in general. Because if somebody wants to tell me basically that they felt that wealthy should pay more in taxes, and I want you to understand something. It doesn't matter how much one particular group of people pays. That's not going to change the outcome of a mindset of another particular type of people. I gotta drive that point home, because I feel like after I've learned what I've learned, if everybody learns how to take care of their own economy, if we learn and get educated and apply correctly how to take care of our own economy, then we wouldn't have to worry about a lot of certain things.
Right.
Even we were talking about yesterday about donating monies to different organizations, and somebody mentioned, I think my mom said somebody told her or something that instead of giving money to the homeless directly, we should give money to organizations and it'll be spread out better. Yeah, right, man. I ain't got time for that. Y'all but anyway, you know, but so that's a whole nother conversation. But so we're talking about where do our taxes go? What happened to my payroll taxes? Where do they go? What do they pay? And I didn't do a lot of preparation. My man David Johnson's out of Sumter, South Carolina. He just jumped on, man. That's a smart brother down there too, man. We have finances. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
And I did a little research. It was quick. It was fast. It was fast, y'all. It was a little research, fast research. But what I'm going to do is I want to share this, because once you get this, you're gonna kind of see what I found out, and then it's gonna kind of make sense, because it's a breakdown. So I'm gonna do state first. Let's do state first, because we know every state don't pay taxes. But I think it's like 9 states, James, that don't pay taxes. Yeah. It's 9 states. I was wanting to move to one of them states.
I used to live in one.
Yeah, I was thinking about moving to one of them states.
Be careful, they hit you with the local taxes, huh?
Yes.
It's always
other places.
So, can y'all see this? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So down here is just a little note that says note, and this may not be. This is just a 2016, but just an example. It says note, all other includes care for residents with disabilities, pensions, and health benefits for public employees, economic development, environmental projects, state police, parks and recreation, and general aid to local governments. Numbers might not sum to 100% due to rounding. That already let me know that they ain't doing the right thing. But anyhow, that's what I got from that. I read that. I was like, okay, it may not go to 100 due to rounding. I understand what they're saying. They rounded it. They didn't round it right, quite rounded up. But anyway, so let's see the biggest one, y'all. The biggest one, education, right? This is state now, and it depends on each state. But this is just, oh man, education. It says 26%.
Yeah.
K through 12.
Yeah.
Now, do you honestly believe that the money is being spent correctly in the right areas as far as education?
No.
Because when you talk about education, it's talking about extracurricular programs as well, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just textbooks and learning about the economy and how to survive outside of, graduating high school and college, right?
That's right.
You say Medicaid. You said Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program, 17%. You add that up, we're at 43% right there. Okay, 17 is 43. Then you say higher education. I'm going to assume higher education of public colleges, right?
State-run colleges.
State colleges, public colleges. Junior colleges, things like that. Is that safe to assume?
Yeah. Okay.
So 43 and 15, where we at? 58? 58% now. So a lot of this stuff is going to the kids. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
Okay. Now let me slide back over because I missed the point. I didn't even notice this, James. Miss Bertha, I didn't notice this.
What?
On the right-hand side is all other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
What
that?
is all other?
That's the biggest.
What is all other?
That's the biggest. I thought 26% was the biggest.
Mm-mm.
But all others is the biggest. So we were at 58%. 58 plus 32 is going to be like 90%.
Mm.
I think, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So my, and it's not my numbers ain't off. Theirs are. They got more percentages on here.
Mm.
They do. They come up to 102. That's why they said it ain't accurate.
Yeah. Well, even if you, yeah, I guess. So all other, we don't know what that is. So I'm just letting y'all know, all the viewers that are out there who may be saying, hey, you know what? Wealthy people should pay more in taxes.
Mm.
You see what's going on, all other. You need to get with your state representatives, your local government officials, right? And I think we all, to include me, I guess I got to claim a state first. Yeah, I guess I need to get involved with South Carolina, but
if you scroll down, it talks about all other.
That's all other right there?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, yeah. So what you're telling me is, this is what you're telling me. Parks and recreation is more important than, okay, I got it. General aid to local governments. I don't know what that means because that's too general. Economic development, we know that ain't going on because kids coming out of school and they're not where they probably should be as far as comparison or competitiveness. Environmental projects, environmental would seem like it would go right back to the parks, but I don't know. Then you say state police, pensions. I don't know what kind of pensions. It must be the state pensions, huh?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Health benefits for public employees. So you mean tell me I'm paying state taxes for health benefits for public employees? I don't see nothing in there about poor people.
Mm.
I don't. I see includes care for residents with disabilities. But as far as we know, that might be the 1% that says public assistance. That might be broken down to that minute number.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got transportation at 6%, public assistance at 1%, and then corrections.
Hey, hold on.
I know that's wrong.
Hold up, Eric.
Yeah.
I've been told all my life that my state tax go to maintain the roads.
Mm-hmm.
Show me it's only 6%.
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, 6%. That's the road. Yeah. That's it.
That's terrible.
So that's an eye opener.
It is.
That's an eye opener right there. You dig what I'm saying? That's an eye opener. So for the person that tells me infrastructure, I want to see, okay, parks are considered infrastructure, right? Parks, environmental projects, and parks will be considered infrastructure, and roads.
Mm-hmm.
Transportation. I don't see anything else. So here we go. He said that wealthy people should pay more in taxes. I say that people who understand taxes should learn how to pay less.
Yeah.
I guess we at a standstill. Or maybe we can start at education. We may need to start at education. Because I'm looking at this, and I just got to take a deep look, y'all, where it says all other. And I'm reading where it says all other. And it talks about transportation, just 6%. Wow. Okay. Anybody else got something they want to share?
But I mean, even if you look at that whole left side, man, higher education. I mean, let's be real. You know, I'm not trying to demean anything. I went to school. I got an associate and a bachelor's degree. We talk about higher education. Whose level of higher education are we talking about?
Right.
Because the reality is more people are coming out as graduates completely unprepared than before they even went in.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, they're coming out with more debt than
Yeah.
they went in. So they're coming out with more debt. They're coming out unprepared. And we talk about, and we want to call it higher education. Whose standard of higher is it according to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then now what you're doing is you're not stepping on toes, you're stepping on feet. Because that's where that grooming comes in. we've been groomed to believe that's the route to take. Not saying that it's not the route to take, but they're saying that that's the only route. Right? I mean, that's what we're you may have like a side road when you talk about something else to do. But the big highway, the big 6 to 8 lane highway, just imagine you being in Los Angeles. I don't know if you ever been to California, but they got them big, huge 10 lane highways, right?
Yeah, they do.
And they're driving all them people to higher education. I don't know.
And then
I don't know.
Even before the pandemic, I don't know what the numbers are looking like now, even with some states in their Medicaid and the children's health. I know those numbers have been reduced. So that I even think that 17% is actually lower. So we've done a lot of cutbacks in that program. Prior to the pandemic. I don't know what the numbers are looking like now, but prior to the pandemic, I know that program was cut by a lot of states.
So before the pandemic, that was cut, and this is just 2016, fiscal year 2016. So this is So this is just to give everybody an idea, because we're talking about why should I'm earning 9 figures, 8 figures a year. Why should I have to pay more taxes? I should do everything I can to legally lower my taxes, and everybody else should, and take care of their own self. And then what happens is some of this pie chart can disappear.
Yeah.
If we learn how to take care of our own economies. That's all I'm saying.
That's a big fact right there. And I mean, if you look at it, just from the left side of it alone can be greatly reduced, because the reality is, if we can start taking care of our own economy, then we can make sure our kids have the level of education that they need. That reduces the concept for the Medicaid and the children's health insurance, and as well as the higher education. Kids can stop going to school for something that doesn't really make any sense, and you can go to more for trades and things of that nature. But fixing your own economy and then leveraging that, taking a group of people, as we talked about, who have the understanding, and then going back to the communities, can really start to change this.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Go ahead.
Here's what even better, going back to the Medicaid, then I'm going to get off the Medicaid and the children's health. And this goes back to jobs and wages, everything that's being talked about in the media now. If the parents are able to get jobs that have good or even offer health benefits, then this number will be, the Medicaid and the health insurance will be drastically reduced as well. So that's
you brought something about it. So do I need to go and get a degree to get a better job, to get better benefits? Is that how it works? And I'm not trying to be funny. Is that
you actually don't? Because we talk about that all the time. You really don't need a degree to get a better job, because you can obtain education not necessarily through a formal institution.
Well, I'm saying, but the better jobs have better benefits ultimately, though, right? Or no?
Right. But and again, that better job may not require that you need a degree. I'm just using that loosely.
You just need training.
Right, training. But at least a job that offer benefits, where you have health coverage, especially for yourself and your family.
And I don't want to go away from what the idea and the topic is. We want to show people where taxes are going, and that making comments based off your feelings, us making comments based off our feelings, is not going to really stand up. That's like a bicycle without a kickstand. There's no support there. So we got to go back and look at why we're saying what we're saying, and oftentimes we're saying what we're saying based off of what somebody told us. Remember, everything that we've learned has been from a seed that's been planted. But we got to make sure that the information that we're getting is correct, which means we got to go outside of our comfort zone and our normal circle of people who we're really hanging out with, and say, hey, challenge this stuff, man. Hey, is this really making sense? Is that really grass over there that's green, or is it weeds? You know,
But when you got the facts, they don't lie.
Nah, and the truth don't need no kickstand. It stands up by itself. It don't need no supporting documents or anything. Let me throw something else up there. So the reason why we're talking about this, we want to know where our taxes are going, because I just don't believe. I don't know if I ever thought that. I don't know if I really ever thought that. I did have questions about, wealthy people paying taxes and how much they paid. But once I became educated, I was like, wow, that's how they rolling. I want to be like that. I mean, instead of saying, you ain't paying enough, I should be probably saying, hey, well, how are you doing that? I mean, just think about stuff like that. So, moving to the next one, this is the federal side, y'all. And the federal side, I don't know how well y'all can see this.
It's good.
It's good. Okay. So, I just messed something up. Hold on for a second. I think I messed something up. Yeah, I messed something up. I put it back on. Oh yeah, okay. That's the federal side. So the federal side, right? The federal side tells us, and at the bottom it says, once again, I think they in the same boat. It says, does not add to 100% due to rounding. This talking about 2019 figures from Office Management and Budget fiscal year 2021 historical table. So all right, so most of the budget goes towards defense. That's our military. All right. Social insecurity. Somebody get that joke. And then major health programs. Now I don't understand. I understand defense and I understand social insecurity, but I don't understand major health programs. See, that's why you got to break this thing down to me. So they break it down. So for defense, oh, I see now. It's more important. Okay, so the defense is not that important. National security ain't important. That's 16%. Okay, I get that. It ain't that important. I'm gonna leave that one alone before they shut me down. Okay. So there's a budget for defense. You got Social Security, 23%, and I believe the government owes Social Security funding about $1 trillion. Medicare, Medicaid. What is this CHIP? Anybody? CHIP?
CHIP is also part of the program that help offset. It's like a subsidy.
Okay.
That offset the Medicare program.
Okay, so that's 25%. So when we're talking about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, they kind of falling together, right? Can I say that? Is that correct? Okay, so that's 48% right there. Then you have safety net programs. Let's see what that is. Don't know.
We don't know.
They ain't gonna tell us. Okay, we don't know where that's going. Okay, then they say interest on debt. 8% of our federal taxes are going to the interest on the debt. The interest on the debt must be 24.99%, like them higher credit cards, because they ain't gonna never pay that off at 8%.
That's right. That's right. 8%.
It's not that the interest is bad, because I'm pretty sure they don't have the higher interest. It's the fact that we keep accumulating more.
Yeah, it keeps on going up. Yeah. Okay, so then you say benefits of federal retirees and veterans, 8%. Now we need to put that one up, Quartina, because we don't want to run out of money. I did my 22. I'm gonna need them to keep on paying me till I don't be here no more.
I know.
Going a long time. Okay, you got transportation infrastructure. So you mean the U.S. highways is only 2%?
It ain't much better than state.
Education, 2%. That's where the money's at, James. It's in the education. science and medical research. We ain't got to worry about that. That's why, let me stop. I ain't gonna say that one out loud. We can't, that's why we can't fix stuff that's going on right now. Ain't but 2% of the money going towards that. Non-security, international, and then, bless you. Then you got 4% for all of them. So what y'all think about this pie chart, this graph right here?
It's worse than the other.
Well, you know, it's government. Well, you got to think about it, Ms. Bertha, per capita. Is that right? Per capita, because each state. Now we got 50 states, plus we got a couple of other pieces of land, you know, Dominican and Puerto Rico and all that, you know, they got flags. So each area got their own piece of the pie. They do their own thing, but then now the federal government says, I gotta slice money out to all these people. I'm trying to figure out where the money's at because it's missing some things.
Yeah, it is.
Where my taxes going? Well, y'all taxes going. Where y'all payroll taxes going? Oh,
it's going to Treasury.
Well, you may be right. It's going somewhere because we keep printing all this money. This is another conversation. I got some Sandy wipes right here. I got some Sandy wipes right here, and the money probably worth that right now. Well, it's what happens is if we keep on continuing to get taxed and not learn how to take care of our own economy, it goes back to this. Then we're gonna keep on getting our money's gonna keep on getting levied, like that you say. And we're going to keep on waiting 14, 15, 16 months later to get some of that money back. And I don't believe the person that's in charge of the money is putting it where it's supposed to be.
That might be right.
I think they don't have I think they got a money management problem. I think they may need to do some income shifting. All right, man. I think they need to do some income shifting though. So if you just get on the call, conversation was, you know, think that wealthy people should pay more in taxes because they have more money. I think that we should learn the rules of the wealthy and learn what the wealthy people are doing so we can learn how to take care of our own economy. We're talking about building wealth. We're talking about growing our children's children and educating them in our, you know, empowering the communities. We're talking about building assets, income producing assets. We're talking about back in the day, before there was even, I'm going back in government. People wanted to be independent. They didn't want anybody in their business. So, you know, the best way that they had to earn money was through land and through farming. And they were actually owners of things, and they were producers. And they didn't want the government to come in and be this country to be socialism. They wanted it to be, I could be independent of my own accord. As long as you allow me to take care of me, I can take care of me. I think something's going awry somewhere along those hundreds of years ago.
But you got to look at also the population is expanding significantly, and in the time frame right now, I can't see in the city I'm in, everybody gonna own a piece of land and be able to be productive. We all gonna stay out there to be consumers. So, I mean, I think the reality is, you know, even going back to the biblical times, you had people who still work for other people. Now, they might not have called it a job at that time, but the reality is you have people who work for other people.
They called it slave.
No.
Well,
I'm talking about people that work for other people. And even when you have families, you still had the children that worked in the family. So everybody's always worked for someone or some family. Because even when husbands marry or wives married into to families, or husbands married into families, going back to the biblical days, particularly, they will work for the father-in-law. So everybody was always working. We just weren't taught to consume. And like you mentioned earlier, it was all learned. There's new things to consume. There's new things that to grab our money. So the reality is that was never going to be sustainable. It was always going to have to be somebody to go out there and provide for the rest. And you just had, like you said, there's both sides of the spectrum. You pick which one you want to be on. Now, the question is whether the rich should pay more in taxes. I would wager they already do. Because if you look at Amazon and Walmart, all the employees that they have, Those families are paying a significant amount of payroll tax for every single one of those employees. But people don't talk about that. They say, oh, well, they're making billions in net profits. Well, the reality is they are paying significantly more share for every single employee that they have, plus any net profit. So it's just ridiculous to say that the rich should pay more in taxes, because you don't realize that somebody else already took a risk to start the job that you have, to pay half the payroll tax that you have, times how many employees that they already have.
Not to mention, and that's real good, man, when you break it down like that. You always do a good job of that. Not to mention, what people don't realize when they hear that somebody didn't pay taxes for the year, they didn't mention that they paid quarterly taxes. They didn't owe at the end. They paid quarterly taxes. They paid their quarterly. They paid what they owed.
Right.
They paid what they owed. So what you're telling me is that I paid what I owed, and I may have paid $2 million or even $1 billion. Okay, off of that 11 billion or whatever, 129 billion, whatever, I paid $1 billion, and now you're telling me I need to pay more because I made more. But per dollar, I did pay more. Per dollar, I paid more. So you got to ask yourself. When we go back to that learned behavior, and put the shoes on the other foot. Just because somebody is wealthy, that doesn't mean they're evil. There's a lot of wealthy people who give back.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of wealthy people who give back all of the time.
Yeah.
All of the time.
They
and
do.
what happens is we have a lot of personalities who are just kind of sitting back, kind of waiting to collect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking as soft as
I know.
I'm walking as soft as I can. There's a lot of personalities who are sitting back waiting to collect, saying that, hey, you should be doing more. Well, you're right. I think wealthy people should be doing more. I think people who are not as wealthy should be doing more too, though. I think if everybody did more and worked harder and learned more and was able to apply more, then we wouldn't be at this crossroad.
Right.
There's always going to be poor amongst us, but you ain't going to always have me. That's what he said. What he was saying to me, what I think God was saying is that, the mindset of people are always going to be in a certain state. You can't change somebody's mindset. You can affect it. You can affect people. You can have an effect on people. You take that rock and throw it in the water, and you have that ripple effect. But that ripple is going to only go so far. Unless somebody else takes that rock and picks it up and throws in their circle, you can only affect so many people. What we need to practice on or consider practicing on is infecting people the right way. Because when this behavior and this personality, mindset change becomes infectious, then it's going to be like, wow, what can I do? I'm not going to be around here trying to count somebody's pockets. That's stressful. I need to worry about what's coming in my way.
Yeah, I know that's right.
I need to be concerned about what I can do and how I can keep more and how I can do more. So I guess the jury's still out on whether wealthy people should pay more in taxes. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and I have to respect everyone's opinion. But you got to also understand that there's facts out there. And I think that as long as someone is reporting their income, following the laws,
right,
they are using the tax laws and strategies to legally, morally, and ethically lower their taxes. I think if they are doing whatever, as far as the laws of the land, I think we should be trying to learn from what they're doing, because I don't see anybody going to jail, so it's got to be right. So far,
right.
Hold on. The biggest thing I get was, man, hey, I ain't trying to be like Wesley. Man, you ain't making Wesley money. Come on.
You ain't got to worry about that, brother. You ain't got to worry about Wesley. You ain't got to worry about Lauren. And you definitely ain't got to worry about DJT. You ain't got to worry about none of them. But you need to be concerned about the 2 nickels that you have.
That's it.
To start a fire. No,
that's right.
Hey, put together and multiply them. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we need to be thinking about that. So, does anybody have anything they want to add? We got about 5 minutes before the call's over with. Anybody want to add anything to what we were talking about? If y'all just jumping on, we're talking about should wealthy people pay more in taxes, and where are our payroll taxes going? The federal, state, Medicare. Is it Medicare or Medicaid? Medicaid.
Yeah, Medicaid.
And Social Security.
Medicare.
Medicare, yeah.
Medicare is federal, Medicaid is state.
FICA. Okay, FICA, state, and federal. Where's that money going? So y'all go ahead and put y'all 3 cents in it. Anybody got something they want to add on the way out?
Well, I just want to say about should the wealthy pay more taxes. I used to say yes, but that's before I got educated and start just enlightening myself on how to keep more money in my pocket. So it goes back to what you were saying, Eric, about, like legally lowering your taxes, using the tax strategies, the laws to benefit your situation. So I'm going to say no, as long as they applying them right. I'm going to go on record to say no, I don't think they should have to pay more taxes as long as they are doing their part and paying their fair share. I believe everybody have to pay their fair share, whatever that part is.
Okay, all right, I like that. I can rock with that. See on the record, y'all. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'm on the record.
I mean, I would just say, the Bible says, "To whom much is given, much is required." The Bible also says, "Render unto Caesar what is due unto Caesar." But the reality is, with the way things are set up, if anyone takes anything from this, we just have to understand it's not like what people have told us. We've got generations that have been teaching, that the IRS is the devil and the tax man and all this other kind of nonsense, when that tax man has existed for a long time, even going into the Bible days. So the reality is this: we need to figure out and be grateful that the IRS allows us to have certain strategies, certain publications that are applicable to us to be able to legally lower our taxes and keep more of our money, and then work our economy. I think that should be the focus for everybody. If there's nothing else that they take away from this, focus on you and yours. Don't worry about what the government doing with theirs, because it ain't gonna be beneficial to you. Focus on you and yours, and let's go out there and hit personal financial success.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Do what they do. They must be doing something right.
Yeah, it's free.
They must be doing something right.
I don't see nobody.
Study what they do and follow through.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes back to this, like it's the education.
Yeah.
Education is so imperative.
It is.
We have to embrace that part of the things that we were not taught, and the things that many of us don't find important.
Yeah.
Once we prioritize things, we start shifting away from the things that take our money, James. The distractions that try to get our money. Like you say, they ain't had no TV back then. So you had no advertisements. They had to go to the market to advertise, right? Right. You had to go to the market. You wanted that salmon, you had to go to the market. You ain't know what it looked like on television. You had to be in front of it. So you wanted that candy, you had to go to the market to get that hard candy. It wasn't on television.
No.
So with that,
and these things seem so insignificant, but they are so valuable. Even the little things, and the education. I mean, when you learn the right way, it just makes more sense.
And then you cannot argue with documentation. Documentation beats conversation. When I started in black and white, I was like, ooh, that remind me of the Army. So even though I ain't like a lot of stuff they was doing there, and I challenged a lot. Don't tell me it's in document. That's what we're supposed to be following. Because next time you tell me the way we did it before, I don't want to hear that. This is black and white. So, it is the top of the hour. It's 9 o'clock.
Awesome.
If y'all didn't see it, y'all get a chance to see it. Somebody already shared it with you. You can get on National BB's page. You can get on Mr. Hall's, Miss Trafford's, or Miss Winston's page and see what we were talking about tonight. But it's a conversation about cash flow. And at the end of the day, if you learn how to legally lower your taxes, you're going to be able to, by default, increase your cash flow.
Yes.
It's going to allow you to build more wealth. My name is Eric McKinley. You got Miss Bertha Winston. You got Miss Quartina Traffic. You got Mr. James Hall. And like I always say, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. I hope somebody learned something tonight.
Yeah.
And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. We'll see y'all Friday or at the top.
Because we don't want y'all to keep struggling at the bottom.
We don't need to be down there. Hey, y'all take care. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, everybody.
Good night.